Hi everyone, how are you? So long to see you all. I know I am not uploading any video from last 6 months, but I was busy with my work and everything. But now I'm come back and I'm come back with a powerful series of how to connect your Supabase with the bubble or how to use Supabase with the bubble and everything. So in the next couple of videos or 10-15 videos that I'm going to do in this series are mostly cover what is Supabase, how can you leverage Supabase, and how can you connect Supabase in your Bubble app and everything. And from everything. So we will understand what is the use of the Supabase. We will understand how can you implement its edge function, its RPC function, and everything. Right? So let's get started. The first question is what is Supabase? And now why? Right? So just to give you one quick recap, we all know Bubble is a full stack tool. What that means is you can build a front end UI and also the back end, your database, user management, and everything in a single platform. But since you built a two or three application and you build a lot of complex project, you eventually feel like Bubble database speed is slow. It is not suitable for very big operations and it takes a lot of time and also takes a lot of workload unit. So that's where the Supabase comes. Supabase is a backend tool, no front end at all. Front end tool that will help you manage your user, your database, and backend logic and everything. And this is not a no code tool. Then you will all say, why I'm teaching it? Yes, with AI advancement, with the chat GPT and all the new tools are coming up. Now Supabase is a no-code tools. I know many of you are disagree, but in the coming videos, I will show you why you can do it all no code end to end without understanding, without having a deep knowledge of the coding and everything. So now it's pretty much clear. Supabase is simply a backend tool that help you manage and use authentication, database, backend logic, and everything. Now comes to how you can set up Supabase in the bubble, right? But before setting up, be- but before setting a Supabase project in bubble and everything, before I want to deep dive into the terminology that we are going to use in the coming videos, right? So that will be so that it will be pretty easy to understand and everything. So if you are familiar with the bubble, which you should, this still is one of the best tool out there. If you go to the data section of the bubble, you can see data types, privacy rules, app data, option set, file manager, and backend logic also, backend workflow that we called it, right? So all of this is a bubble backend tool, backend system. So if you see when you create a new project, your user table is the first thing that automatically created by the bubble, and it have a default field of email, modified date, created slug, right? What is that alternative that is available in Supabase? So Supabase also have same thing. When you create a first project, it automatically come with the authentication section, right? That have a UID, display name, email, phone number, provider, and you can add further metadata or the column in your user table based on your requirement, right? So that is there. So user table in the bubble is same as the authentication in Supabase. Simple, clear. Next thing is data type. So all the table that you create in the bubble is called the data types, but in Supabase it's called table. Next thing is privacy rules that you use to secure your database, who can access the data, who cannot. So same, we use the terminology privacy rules in the bubble. We use RLS, row level security in the Supabase side of it. We see the bubble data via the app data section. The same way we will see the in Supabase and call it as a table editor section. So if you go any project, go to this table editor and see all of these table, because this is a dummy project that only have the one table and you can see all of this and you can see the table content. Right now there is none, right? Then the views. If you go in the bubble and go to app data and you can see I have a different views for data and everything, right? Same way, Supabase have a views. But one more interesting thing in a Supabase is you can fetch these views data in your front end. But in your bubble side, you can't do it. This is just for the admin purpose only, right? Next come is option set. Option set in bubble used to store the non-sensitive data that you use frequently or everything, right? But in Supabase, that's equivalent is enumerated types, where you can store any kind of data that is not very sensitive and all, right? Next come is the file manager. In the bubble, you use a file manager section to upload any file, image, anything, and then show to your user, right? In the Supabase side of it, it's called storage. It's pretty much same as if you have ever used AWS S3, Cloudflare R2 bucket and everything. It is that similar. So you can upload any file, you can even restrict who can see which file or not and everything. Next thing is backend workflow. So if you are ever built a bubble application, you have used backend workflow to run a different server side actions and everything, or you want to do any sensitive work, you do in a backend workflow, right? Or you want to set up your Stripe webhook, you do in a backend workflow. Same way you here in the Supabase, we are using edge function and RPC. So we use different one for different purposes, but eventually all of the logic and backend logic will be reside in any custom logic that is residing into these sections. Next thing is database trigger. So you have set up a lot of database trigger um, in the bubble. So the same name it's in the Supabase trigger. So you see all of the terminology by and large, it's pretty much same, right? Because both, even the bubble and even Supabase, both is Postgres database. So the concept wise, both are pretty much similar, but Supabase is much more advanced since this is a backend specific tool. So they go in the deeper detail. One more thing with the Supabase is it's a open source. What that means is you can see their code and you can even self-host your Supabase version uh, at your server. So that is some powerful capabilities that Supabase have. And we are going forward in the next videos. I'm going to show you how to set up a project in Supabase and how can you set up that same project or use the same project in Bubble side of it. So that's for the next video. Thanks a lot. Thank you very much.